This lesson is about the gradients or the slopes of a graph. When you have to explain about a graph, you must look for two things. One is if the gradient is positive or negative. The second one, if the gradient is uniform or the non-uniform. Don't forget here, the non-uniform gradients are increasing ones or the decreasing ones. Well, let's look at one of the example here from the screen. So gradients which are going upwards are positive and the gradients which are going downwards are the negative. Since it is a straight line, it is a uniform and positive, and the gradient B, it is going downward or it is showing the declining trend, so it is a negative and uniform. Well, let's look at more examples about the gradients. Here I took three random graphs. As you know, in a motion graph lesson, we deal with a lot of distance time graph or velocity time graphs. Right. The first one is a distance and the time graph. For the first graph is the distance time graph. Here I took some values on the y-axis as well as x-axis. Distance in meters and the time is in seconds. Here, first thing we have to identify whether this gradient is a positive or negative. As the graph line is increasing, it is showing inclined trend, so it's a positive. And since it is a curve, we have to it's a non-uniform gradient, so we have to check whether it is increasing or decreasing. Well, to know that, draw the two tangents here. One at the beginning, the other one is at the ending of the graph gradient line. Well, the first tangent is more flatter, looking like more horizontal, and the second tangent is steeper, looking like more vertical. So here the flatter is becoming steeper, the flatter tangent becoming steeper, so it is increasing gradient. The second graph is velocity and time or speed time graph. So here its gradient can be acceleration. Right. First we have to identify whether this one is a positive or negative. It is a positive because the graph line is going upward. And now we will look for whether it is increasing or the decreasing gradient. To know that, we need to draw two tangents, one at the beginning of the graph line, the second at the ending. And the tangent at the beginning is more steeper compared to the one at the ending. So here the steeper tangent is becoming flatter, right? Steeper is becoming flatter, so it is decreasing gradient. Let's move on to the third graph, which is the velocity time again. Right. Whether we check whether it is positive or negative. Okay. So it is negative because the graph line is going downward. So any gradient which is going downward or showing the decline trend is a negative gradient. Okay, now we will look for whether it is increasing or decreasing gradient. Well, draw the two tangents here, one at the beginning and one at the ending. Well, the tangent at the beginning is flatter and the one at the ending is steeper. So here the flatter is becoming steeper, So this one is increasing gradient. That's it for today's lesson. I will see you in my next video.